Hey guys, it's Hannah the creator again, and I'm back again with another Nomad Sculpt. So today I'm sculpting Betty Boop, and I chose this character because she has like a very unique image about her, and I love it. And who doesn't love Betty Boop? So this was kind of hard. I would probably say this was the most complex model I've done so far. So right now, you guys, I am doing her head, which she does have an oddly shaped head, which I love too, because that's what makes her Betty Boop, right? But for sculpting purposes, like the back of her head, I hate it. It's like we never seen the back of her head, so it's like, is it really circle in the back? Because her head is such like a square, shape in the front. It's like, how can it be circle in the back? So I really struggle with the back of the head, so I was just like, you know what, let's just come back to it later. So I started on her hair. So I used cylinders for her curls, and I just dragged it to shape the curl, and then I used the smooth tool to smooth it down. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna duplicate these curls, so I don't have to do this for each curl, and I'll probably like move it around a little bit just so it won't look like I duplicated it. So yeah, so then I was like, okay, where's her hairline? I forgot I need to add in a forehead and some cheeks. So right now you see I'm doing cheeks and trying to add more definition to her face so her hair can fall on her head the right way. So now I just duplicated another curl, and I'm trying to line it up with my reference image in the back. And having a reference image in the back is very helpful, so I know like where it needs to be lined up with. So I always recommend you to have a reference image in the back, unless you're just that good at symmetry and or you're doing like a custom mode where you don't need a reference image. So right now I'm still putting in the curls. The curls was fun to do with her little, baby hairs. I'm gonna do her baby hairs next. But right now, like I said, I'm just duplicating it and making sure like it falls on the reference image the right way. With Nomad Sculpt, like I love how everything is like simple as far as the interface. So this was very fast to do. I'm just like a perfectionist, so I'm like, okay, so this curl needs to go down a little bit. I need it perfect, like just on the image, but it really don't matter. It's just a helpful guide, so don't like beat yourself up if it doesn't exactly match the image that you have in the background. So right now I'm still trying to like work out the back of her head. I'm like, what does the back of her head look like? I should have looked this up before I started sculpting, but it was like bothering me. So I'm like, okay, her head looks atrocious in the back. Like it just doesn't look good. So I'm just like, okay, maybe if I move around, but then it looks too blocky. So I thought, okay, what if I shave half of it and then like add some clay to make it a circle? Then I was like, okay, let me add a spear. I'm like, okay, this looks wrong. So yeah, this is me trying to make her have like a normal shape head, and I feel like I had it, but then I was like, okay, no. So let me just smooth it out, drag it out, smooth it out, drag it out, smooth it out. But then I'm like, okay, there's this big like crease, and then I was like, okay, I'll come back to the head. Let's get the rest of this cracking. Okay, so now working on the body, I use a cylinder, which I feel like is helpful. So I just squeeze in the side to make her have a waistline. Then I'm adding her chest area. Yeah, and then I go back and I'm like, okay, I need this cylinder wider. And then I add in her chest. And I'm just using the drag tool and the move tool to give her like a really nice waistline. Now I'm doing the arms, which is another cylinder, and I'm just like using the move tool so I can have the pose, her arm in the meditation pose. So mind you, I've used Nomad I guess I want to say beginning of last year, and then I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, so I stopped. And then recently I just got back into Nomad, so they have had a big update since then. I haven't played around with the new tools that they have, so before anyone comments and says, oh, you could have done like the tube tool, I did not know. So this is me doing a hard way of using cylinders for arms. If you use the tube tool, it'll make your life 100% more easier. And I wish I would have saw some tutorials on this before I did this model, because then I would have, finished even faster. But no, I chose to do the hard part. And it's okay, because look, we getting through it. So now I'm doing her legs. This was like my favorite part because it's the most, I would say, complex part of this model was her legs. But as you can see, it was very easy to just be like, okay, one leg done, and then duplicate it and then swivel that other leg around. So right now I'm just doing her foot and making sure it's like, close to the image. This model didn't require too much detail, so I try not to really try to give her toes and stuff, because it's a cartoon. Like, come on, it's not realistic. So now I'm just trying to make sure it looks okay. So like now I just duplicated that leg to make it the other leg, and I'm trying to make sure it's flat, it's lining up with her the base of the model. So now I'm doing the same thing to the other side. So yeah, this is very fun to do. And please subscribe, please. It's my second time making a Nomad Sculpt, and hopefully as I make more, I get better. I feel like, from the first time I did a 3D model in Nomad Sculpt, I didn't know what I was doing. So now I feel like more qualified, I guess you could say, and more fun, because like I said, ZBrush is expensive, and I haven't found a 3D modeling software that I could just take on the go, which is why I love my iPad, because as a creator, I like to create on the go. So this is a very useful, and I think it was only $15 for you could paint on here, you can sculpt. This is I love the creator. Thank you for making this. So right now I'm going back on the arms. I'm trying to beef them up some, as you can see, and smooth them out, and then blend it to the other piece. I did not know, mind you, I did this sculpting before I looked at the new tutorials, and I did not know that you could just actually merge the two. So I didn't really have to blend it by hand. I could just merge it. I know. But hey, lesson learned. It's okay, because next tutorial I got y'all. But yes, I'm doing the hard way all the way around on this model, as you can see. But hey, that's what learning is for, trial and error. So yeah. Okay, so now I'm about to duplicate this whole arm over to her other arm. So I won't have to do the same thing, which is why I love 3D modeling, because you can just, duplicate it or put on symmetry, and whatever you do to one side automatically does it to the other side, so you don't have to really sit there and do everything twice. So yeah. So now I'm trying to label my layers, which will be helpful if you are trying to export it and import this into Blender or into Procreate to paint it. I try to remember to label my layers, but sometimes I just get so lost into sculpting, I forget, and then I have to go back at the end and label each thing. So right now I'm still trying to work the back of her head. Oh my god, this was so annoying. It looks so good in the front, but in the back it's ooh, please don't turn around. So again, I'm trying to make the back make sense, and yeah. So you guys, I was okay, forget the head for right now, let's go back to her body. I'm trying to make her body looks right. So I'm going back into the chest area and trying to give her some curves and making sure her chest looks appropriate. And then I'm smoothing out her back, trying to give her an arch in the back too. And then I'm trying to make sure her neck is not too thick. So you'll see me using again the move tool and the smooth tool. And then after that, I just kind of jump around, because I don't like to spend too much time in one spot. So now I'm doing her face, and I'm using the crease tool and the smooth tool. So every time I use the crease tool, I kind of like smooth it out with the smooth tool. So now I'm just, this is my first time doing a face in, Nomad. So please do not come for me in the comments. I'm sure there's probably an easier way to do the face, but it was fun, and I think I did a pretty good job for it to be my first time sculpting a 3D face. So yeah, I'm just making sure I have like indentations so I know where to paint her eyelashes and her lips and her nose. It was kind of hard doing the nose because as a 3D artist, even though you do have like a reference image, you still have to like see, okay, how will Betty Boop look in like 3D? You know what I'm saying? Like, how far is her nose gonna stick out? How far is her lips gonna stick out? Like, yes, we do know she has small lips, but we only see Betty Boop from like, the front side, never the side profile. So that's why you see me kind of like turn the model to the side. So I'm like, okay, what does her side profile looks like? Because her front profile looks great, but you gotta make sure what do your model looks like on all sides, not just the front side. Because you can animate this character, and so that's why it's good to like kind of move your model around and not just be so stuck on one point of view. So now I'm doing the hands, you guys, and again, there is an easier way, I found out, and I was like, ooh, I could peach myself. Okay, so I did it the hard way. Again, use the tube tool to do the fingers. It would be much easier. I don't know what the heck I was doing. I was just like, okay, we're gonna make 4 fingers out of this little ball of clay. It was so funny because I'm like, it's gonna work. But as you can see, I'm like, okay, it's not working, let me do it again. It's not working, okay, let me do it again. I should have looked at some tutorials, but it's okay. Like I said, trial and error. Like, this is nothing that I'm going to be really like, it's just for practice, So I found a better way, and I'm glad I did. So yeah. So now, like, I'm just like, okay, we just gonna work with what we have. I'm not gonna spend too much time on the fingers because that's not the main focus for me. The main focus is, like, of course, her head and her body. Like, nobody's gonna be looking at her fingers like, oh, she's supposed to have 5 fingers. Why does she only have 4? I didn't care. So now I'm like, okay, let me just put a spear, cut it, do a cut in the middle, and then just like make it almost like crab fingers or a crab hand. So I was like, okay, maybe this is like the easiest way. Again, I did not know nothing about the tube tool. So yeah, use the tube tool, and that will help you with the finger part, because this is for the birds. Like, look at this. I'm trying to make a thumb, and it's just like, no. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, we just gonna finesse. So this is me finessing a hand out of a ball, and then I'm like, shoot, how am I gonna merge? Like, this looks a hot mess. So I was like, you know what, let's just do it like this, and everybody could go home happy, So yeah, it looks like a clam, I know, or a seashell, I know. Just don't focus on her hands. Just no, I don't like it. So this is me for the probably 5th time redoing her hand. At this point, I was just like, you know what? Maybe I should just come back. But I was like, no, don't give up. Let's just, come on. Let's just add clay, smooth it out, move it around. We got this. So yeah. So this is when I was like, okay, this gotta work. I'm not finna redo the hand anymore. So as you can see, I'm still trying to smooth it out so it looks a little like something like a hand. I don't know. And I was like, okay, shoot, how many fingers does she have? Because in the cartoon, let me see, it's 5 fingers. But at that point, I did not care. I was like, I just want her to look like she is meditating with her hands on her knees. I don't care. So this is me duplicating that other arm over. Cause I'm like, I'm not doing this again. But I did make the other hand a little bit different because, I didn't want to be symmetrically. I want to have a little bit of symmetry to it. So this is me trying to, build her shoulders so she can have some shoulders. And And yeah, because in the picture you can't really see her neck. She got her head kind of slumped down, but I have on the model, her head is just straight up. So that's why I was like, okay, I need to put shoulders in the neck on her. So this is me trying to do the eyebrows, but then I was like, I just paint the eyebrows on. And then this is me doing her baby hairs. Yes, baby boop. Okay, so this was kind of hard too, because again, this is my first time doing hair in Nomad. So I'm like, okay, how can I make this look like this is coming from her scalp and not just me putting, you know, curls on top of her head. So I used the brush tool and the clay tool, I think, to add the curves to make it kind of like it's coming out of her hair. Yeah, I haven't seen much tutorials on hair in Nomad, so I'm still kind of like, you know, practicing on the hair part. But I feel like this looks good for it to be my first try, and wait till you see I paint it, it's gonna look twice as good. So I know I was doing something right. So if you have any tips on that, feel free to comment that below. So now I lied to y'all, this was my favorite part, is the adding the earrings and the bracelet. So this was pretty easy because all I did was use a tourist. So this was very easy, but it just was like all coming together after I putting on her jewelry. I was like, yes, this is, I love it, I love it. So this is me putting on her bracelets, and I try to make it not too big, not too thick. It's always trying to find like that right way. But then I was like, wait, one bracelet is thicker than the other. Like, what was I thinking? And here go me back again trying to work on that head. I'm just like so over it, y'all. So I understand if y'all gonna come for me in the comments because of her head, I'll take that. But the front looked amazing. That's all I care about. Like, I'm not animating this character, so she do not have to turn around for me. Okay, so now I am painting, you guys. And this is my first time painting in Nomad. I usually export this out and paint it into Procreate. I might still do that because the painting was kind of like blurry to me when I was trying to add the details. But I just want to test out painting in Nomad, and then of course the post-process tools. So that's why I chose to just paint it in Nomad. But I will be exporting this out and painting it in Procreate to add more details and shading. So now, you guys, I'm just trying to paint her skin and her hair and making sure her hair is on top of her skin, if that makes sense. So that's why you see me going back and forth between brown and black to make sure like the hair looks like it's painting on top of her skin and not her skin painting on top of her hair. I know, crazy. Okay, so now that I added black to the back of her head, you can't really tell that it's jacked up in the back. So I kind of like that. So now I am still trying to I'm adding details with her eyelash and her lashes. See, it was kind of blurry, so I'm like, I don't like this, the way it's like blocky on the model. So I'm like, what do I need to do? Do I need to remesh it or what? But I just didn't like, and I did the Voxel remesh, and that helped a little bit. So if I'm missing something, please feel free to comment that in the comments too. And then now I'm trying to draw in her clothes. I thought about sculpting out her clothes, but then I was like, I don't feel like it. So right now we're just gonna paint on top of it. It's okay. Like I said, that's not the main focus. The main focus is wait till you see her earrings, and then just the whole thing after post-processing. So yeah, now I'm doing her back, and I gotta make sure that her shirt wraps around her whole body. So yeah, I'm excited, you guys. This is my first time painting and like sculpting and painting in this program. So I was like, I had to try it out myself, and I'm glad I did because it was a nice and satisfying process. A little bump in the road, but hey, we got here. So now look at her bracelet. Like, I love her jewelry. Like, this was just awesome. And I think I took a small break here, but yeah. So so I painted her jewelry, and then now I'm painting her pants, and I just love how this looks. Like, I can't wait. I might print this out on my 3D printer. Y'all think I should print it out on my 3D printer? Comment yes. Print Betty Boop or no. Cause like I want this to be like on my desk or something. Or it could be like a cute figurine. Like, I love it. Okay, so now I'm just trying to cover my areas to see if there's anything that's still white. I need to go back and fill in. It was kind of hard painting this because, you know, not everything is on its own layer. And sometimes the paint got onto the other part of the model. So I had to go back and repaint that. But I like the way it came out. You know, it came all together at the end. I'm so excited for y'all to see the final piece. I just had to do a little bit more painting and making sure I cover my base area. Okay, now we're about to add lights, and it took me a minute to find out where the lights were, and I wasn't reading, and I was just like, okay, let me play around with the background. How do I want to set this up? I did like a dark background. I added a bloom effect. I was just going through the different options of lighting. I added like a blur effect too, so like the background is blurry, and it focus on the 3D model. So now I'm looking for these damn lights. Oh, there go the lights. See, wasn't reading. Okay, so now I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I move the lights around? Okay, so I think I did like a 2 light setup. I tried doing 3, but I was just like, I'm just gonna do 2 light. So I did one in front of her, and then now I'm about to add another one in the back for a key light. So it'll really like highlight her hair and her jewelry. Like, I love, my favorite part about this is the jewelry. Like, the gold, it's the gold for me. And the baby hair. Like, everything came together. I'm so excited. Like, yes, I'm gonna repaint this in Procreate, but this is like very, I love it. So now you see my little Betty Boop meditating Betty. And yeah, so please comment and subscribe below. If you have any questions, please like sound off in the comments. I'll try to answer them the best I can. If you don't know, I'll find an answer for you. We are in this together. So thanks for watching, you guys.